April 19th, 2022.
Do we have a copy of the minutes?
We have copies. I don't know. Should we read through them?
You're gonna have to, because if the people don't have a copy of what happened at the last annual meeting, you have to read them.
Motion for Janine Matusek to call the meeting to order at 8:21 p.m. Motion seconded by Randy Kufal. Carried unanimously. In attendance, sign-in sheet, Chairman Strike, Supervisors Nowak, Dangle, Haas, Miskey, and Clerk Treasurer. Clerk Treasurer read minutes of April 20th, 2021 annual meeting. Motion by Randy Kufal to approve the minutes as written. Motion seconded by Kathy Kufal. Motion carried. Clerk Treasurer gave the 2021 financial report. Which that passed. What goes under highway expense? Clerk cautious explained highway expenses include all wages and other expenses related to road work. Janine Matusek asked to have a breakdown of road costs by road so that in the future town residents are aware of how much is being spent in each road. Kathy Kufal made a motion to approve the 2021 financial report as read. Motion seconded by Rodney Gutenberg. Motion carried. New business, like the Kuzek asked if are you hiring a deputy clerk? Clerk stated that there is a person who is agreeing to train work and training scheduled in the near future. Janine Matusek investigated salary paid for town supervisors in 2 other townships and feels that increase is in order for town of Merrill supervisors. Motion by Rick Newman to raise by 5% town officer over the wage. Motion seconded by Kathy Kufal. Motion carried. Motion by Kathy Kufal to increase salary for town supervisors to $3,400. Motion carried. Motion seconded by Randy Kufal. Motion carried. Date of the next annual meeting, motion by Rick Newman to hold the 2023 annual meeting Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. Motion seconded by Mike Matusek. Carried. Motion carried. Motion by Rodney Gutenberg to adjourn. Motion seconded by Rick Newman. Motion carried. Chairman Strike adjourned the meeting at 9 p.m. Any questions on the minutes of the last annual meeting? If not, I need a motion to accept the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes as written.
Motion that was by Randy Kufal. Correct. Correct.
That's correct.
A second.
Second. Everybody.
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the financial report. You've all got a copy of the financial report. Is there any questions on that report?
If you don't have a copy, there's some up here.
God, I got a question. Why did the total equipment repair fund double from 21 to 22?
I would say, it was the repairs on our truck, exactly what, I don't know.
I know,
We had breakdowns on the Peterbilt, we had, repair, I think we had like, correct me if I'm wrong, we had at least $30,000 in, repairs on both trucks last year.
to the grader, needed a head gasket on the grader. I think that was over 20, and some other repairs. There's a lot of repairs done to the equipment. So it's a bad year for that.
Jerry Badoo.
Are there any other questions? Yes.
The highway cost was 9 times from the previous years. Would you kind of clarify that?
On highway costs, you mean other?
No, it said highway costs in parentheses Lincoln County.
Well, that's work that the township had hired the county for. We don't have a paving machine, and they did paving, overlaying, culvert work, that kind of stuff. We hire the county as soon as possible.
How was the 2022 year end cash balance like $2 million when your receipts were 2.5 and shouldn't that be a lower number? Why is that higher?
That's a lot to do with the COVID money, the ARPA fund, I believe. That money was put into the budget there. That's why the increase in that, that's already budgeted for road work.
Could you please state your name?
Me?
Yeah, we need it for the minutes.
Dennis Schultz.
Dennis Schultz.
Thank you.
Just wondering about the hall deposit. The hall deposit income was 6,625, and the hall deposit refund was 7,575. Just wondering why the refunds were more than the deposits.
That's a good question.
Because, if they rented it for an afternoon and it was, just say $50, but they still had to put a $200 deposit down. And we got to refund that back. That's, I'm just guessing on that.
I'm not sure on that, Steve.
That's right.
And honestly, I don't know why that number's different. That different.
You have to deposit 200
Yeah,
in case he breaks something, but the afternoon, just an afternoon rental is like I don't have the exact numbers.
In reality, the deposits that are taken in, sometimes, they don't get everything back, but it's not clean, so that number should be actually less.
Should be lower.
That could be lower, so that could be a mix up from, we have a part-time treasurer and, there's been errors. So to saying he's new with this, so that could be a typo, that could be flipped. Yeah, that should probably be flipped, be my guess.
What do you want to do? Last name.
Lee. I just got one other question. What's the loan payment for? Let's start on the grader.
That is, yeah, we still have, the balance, I believe, on both. Approximately, on the grader, I think it's 60-some thousand, and on the trucks, I think it's about 46. Any other questions on the annual report?
There's no, just a quick question, on the sand and salt, there's no, number for the 2020 season. Is there a reason for that?
Mike?
2021. There's a report for $22,300 for this year, but there's nothing for 2021.
There again, Mike, apologize, but this was made up here kind of a last minute thing. Our part-time and he doesn't have all the resources. I'll take a number, we can look into, I guess. that out. I know in 2021, we used up what we had in our salt sand pit. There was quite a bit of it, the rest we got from the county.
Yeah, but even too, I think the 22,000 for this year seems like a high amount. I wonder if he just totaled it too. I don't know. That doesn't seem that either.
You mean immerse them?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying that that's
Doesn't seem like-
really out of bounds as far as the amount and then the.
Some of what we spent on salt sand last year, I think that total of salt sand was about 13,000 Cutler.
And we mixed twice, I think. And that is probably like 13,000.
So 21 was 15.
I'm not sure.
I would have to guess on like the Mark II numbers are merged. That seemed like not a big number for 1 year.
Where are the wages? Doesn't the town have an employee? Where are the wages for that?
That would probably put on our highway cost,
That comes out of our highway.
higher highway fund. And like snow and ice removal, a lot of them at some point. Patching, payroll. That's a lot of the highway employees.
Could you please state the name for the,
Alex Crockford.
thank you.
Pat, do you have the number on what you budget, what our total distributions was gonna be based on the estimated from the meeting for the budget?
That would be in the budget meeting. It wouldn't be here with like.
No, it should be, I'm just trying to see. You want to kind of, just wanted to see where this number, which is $303,153,687.48 compares to what you had budgeted for your, at your budget meeting.
That number would have to be looked into as well. I mean, that would be into the budget.
What's that?
That would money, that dollar amount would be, have to be looked into on the budget meeting. On the budget. Paperwork.
Well, yeah, just right now, we don't, as electors, we really don't know where we sit as far as money based on what we estimated.
Maybe one of the board members recalled that number.
Off the top of my head.
I know what you mean, Mike, and that number should be noted as far as where we set, but,
actually, even too, you know, because if you look under the year-end cash balance, and then you look at the total receipts for what money was brought in comes to $2,557,232. So that, subtract them numbers. We're definitely in the hole based on them numbers, if that's the numbers that we're looking
Well,
at.
I do know one thing from last year. That this year's cost, our fuel costs doubled. And it's major repairs on equipment. Which was a huge expense and everything else.
Make more sense that that cash balance should be less.
Yes,
Conjuring money out of it.
but then this is the thing here. It's that, obviously being without a clerk treasurer here, it's been challenging to say the least. And, I would love to pull those numbers up for you, but obviously I'm not an accountant. And that was something that, he was very good at. And, I think there's some errors here.
Actually, I don't know if this, under the proposal for this year for 2022 was $1,233,978. And, that would leave us with a cash balance of $109,872.00. But the only reason I'm saying it is because at this point, the numbers are not gonna really come out very well based on the way we are looking at this.
I agree. Board members see it?
The number for total receipts is, for total receipts, it should be 3.3 million basically. And you don't add your ending cash balance to your receipts to get total receipts. So I don't know if that number is wrong.
That's the difference.
Well, I
We
can
don't
add
know.
it, but
Figure that out. Right.
yeah, so I could have added wrong here, but I got 3,664. If you add, so that would be 3,664 would be added up. If you add the total receipts added up plus the end of the year balance, which that's not an accurate way to represent it because those total receipts should be somewhere around 3,300,000.
Yeah. Right.
On the 2021. That's where receipts in 2021.
Yes.
Can you add up the 2022 receipts?
Yeah.
So if you subtract those 3,300,000 roughly from 3 million, and you add it to 364, your ending balance is off too. So. Yeah, there's a lot of problems with this. Is this on a spreadsheet? Like a spreadsheet?
He did all this off of QuickBooks.
So just
real quick question here is, it's actually two questions.
Tony Ballman.
Tony Ballman, yeah. What is, does the board or any of the board members know our cash balance and what if any liabilities do we have withstanding from last year?
They should, the board should have the annual, or not the annual report, but the monthly report in hand.
That would at least give us an idea of what
And guys,
we could maybe figure that after that, if we know that.
what's that?
We don't have all the papers.
You didn't get any paper? We don't have the monthly. The vendor truck we have, we do not have the regular. You looked in the office on the desk? I did not.
That would at least help us through that.
Well, yeah, but here again, I don't get that paperwork any longer, so.
Right. I understand. Does any of the board members have access to that electronically?
No.
Okay.
You actually could look online and see what the last budget meeting, or the last meeting, what was the balance of the treasurer's report from last week?
Just a minute here. I think I made a folder, but it's not look. Anybody else have it? Last once?
I got February's ending, I was looking.
Well, it's not half.
Here, I've got March's here. That's. The electors can see what the, a great importance here we have in the township to have obviously a full-time clerk treasurer here.
I got the ending balance as of March 13th.
That'd be great.
It's $883,760.
No sense.
18.
And then what was the bills that you paid for March?
The checks issued were 18,611.13.
You can do it.
So what should that balance should be about 812. Oh, what is that number? Did you figure that out, Mike?
No, I was just trying to see because the year-end cash balance has to come out in order for us to be able to approve them.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
So I'm trying to figure that. So I'm not figuring.
When he did his 2021, he added the cash and balance in, but when he did the 2022 number, he did not. Or when you go to total receipts,
Okay.
Does that work out?
That's what I came up with. I didn't do all the cents on it. I just did
Rough figures.
total dollar amounts. And I came up with, 3,303,117 for the 2021.
That's the total distribution up there.
That was the total receipt. If you just added those numbers without the year-end cash balance.
Okay.
When I add in the cash balance, then I come up to $3,668,60. So in my view, that's the 2021 number. The 3,668,000 has the 364,000 in it from the cash ending. That's why those numbers look so far off.
I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but the 2021, maybe I said it already and I missed it, but the 2021 year-end balance, if you add that number to 2022's total receipts, it comes to exactly 2022's total disbursements. That shouldn't be like that. So I don't know if that helps somebody figure it out or what's the idea.
Yeah, Steve.
Well, we're kind of at a standstill here, and since even some of the figures are wrong, like the sand salt and the budget, the rental stuff. Is it proper to make a motion that we get this report straightened out and bring it to the next meeting, next month's meeting,
Absolutely.
be approved?
I agree. You know,
I'd like to make that a motion if that's,
that's totally legit.
Is it
Well-
possible to hire an accountant
Where?
on a short-term basis?
This annual, we're gonna have to, because numbers are that far off.
Did Kate help, him do this?
No.
So you just asked him, Scott, to add up whatever the distributions were off of what the QuickBooks were, or how did he come up with that number to create that balance? You know,
He had looked from last year's report and he did QuickBooks. He said he was familiar with it. So,
Is it possible to retain Kate Houges, previous treasurer clerk, to come in and,
that I can't answer. I have no idea.
well, you do have a deputy clerk too, correct?
She's
What's the arrangement with her from Pine
on
River?
Pine River.
Yep.
That I do not know either. Either we had hired our current part-time interim treasurer. He kind of bowed out after the election. She helped with the election. So, yeah, we can take this to a accounting firm, I'm sure, and have it figured out. Then we have to send everything to them. And get it figured out that way. But and Steve's got a motion on the floor.
I'll second that motion.
Tony Ballman.
Moment. I just have one question on that. How are we going to represent this back to the electors? Are you going to go through a formal meeting with the board to call a special meeting?
I'm gonna have to talk to Towns Association and make sure that we do this process correctly, Mike. And have another annual meeting to clarify everything that has been.
The other question I do have, Scott, did you post this in the newspaper for this meeting?
Actually the paper tips.
No, did you have it posted in our paper to say that the town of Merrill's having their annual meeting?
Absolutely.
You did?
Absolutely.
It was in the photo.
It was? Okay.
Absolutely.
I didn't see it. I just was questioning, because that's something that also has to be done.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago already, like over 2 weeks. Absolutely.
So I guess that's, well, I have.
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Motion carried. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I just had a question.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Is there a possibility of returning, since Kate Houges was familiar, with everything for so many years that she could be hired on an hourly basis to go in here and get some accurate figures. Whereas,
There again, Kathy, we can reach out to her, but whether or not she will or not, I have no idea. And I can't answer for her.
Okay.
Yes. I can't answer for Kay.
Is there a
No,
reason?
she comes in usually a couple hours a week, but I'll have to reach out and talk to her once.
I thought since she was the previous clerk treasurer for so many years, she would be more familiar than an outside accounting firm have to go in and dig everything. She would get the answer.
Right,
There's no doubt on that, Kathy.
Right.
That's a given, but whether.
that'll be our first question. I'll
I
try to
think
get
even,
her,
I
but,
like her idea, but I also say too, even if you can't get pay, you
well, that's just right.
call.
Right.
Kramer, I don't know who else.
No, I'm talking about the person that was our deputy clerk and she could come in and help because she has,
Amanda?
yeah. Make some connection at least to try to get her in too.
Is there a reason why our interim treasurer, part-time person isn't here for helping to answer some of these questions?
He's probably,
He didn't want to be here.
well, not only that is yeah, he made the numbers.
Yeah.
In this, yeah, but I mean, he's less familiar with what's going on in this. I mean, as anybody, I mean, he's an accountant for a small business, what he was. And I don't know if he's overwhelmed with all this, he must be, but there again, I don't know what happened. He said he had a handle on it, so, that's what happened.
I don't know. We just have to call, Kate and Amanda and see whoever, and come back and help Chris and then we'll,
Moving on to, third thing on the agenda is, vote for splitting the clerk treasurer position in two separate appointed positions. If you did not pick up a piece of paper and a pen, we've got pens and paper here, so, if you approve to do so, splitting the position into two different appointed positions, vote yes. If you do not have opposed the idea, vote no. And
Can we have some discussion on that prior to this? So we are know what we're voting for?
we had discussion, but go ahead, Mike, yes.
I have a few questions. Do you have any information based on the qualifications as far as if you split that position? Will that have to be an elected position for that clerk position and that treasurer's position, and they're separated?
The only thing I know is that the town of Bradley has appointed clerk and they chose to elect the treasurer. So at the point of the township has a choice of appointing
or
both or electing. And I feel appointing is a better option, correct? Because if we can go outside the township, otherwise we're committed to inside township. So that's why I chose to try to keep it appointed. The board and I talked about, we had a discussion last meeting. And that was my thought, and put a salary on it. And do it that way. That way we don't have to have the audit, which I think costs the township.
Will you, yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Does that disqualify you from the option of having to have the audit every year?
Exactly, and that's a cost of about $7,000.
we will have to have it this year because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the idea of that split position, you're gonna do that as a treasurer position as 50-50 from the treasurer and 50% to the clerk.
No,
Okay,
no, that position, actually, the clerk will be more of a, probably a 2/3 to a third.
so,
The clerk actually will keep the office hours open. And the clerk or the treasurer will actually just, do more of the payroll and more of a part-time thing, but if the clerk does need help, the treasurer can kick in and help as well. Then you have that oversight of two of them, basically.
so you're gonna train the clerk and the treasurer to do the same position, but.
Well, they'll cross-train.
Cross-train.
Yes.
I
And
think
if the
it would be more or less that if the clerk has more to do when it comes to the elections and everything else. So if the clerk gets backlogged, the treasurer could step in and help stuffing envelopes or sending out
Mailing.
absentee ballots or marking it down when they come in or taking care of some of that stuff.
The other suggestion I would have based on this is I think everybody's seen it with the election issues. That, in order to get a qualified person into that position, if you would possibly look at bringing somebody in part-time to help that clerk or treasurer with the election stuff, because that's the overwhelming part, which is probably some of the reason Kay has moved on based on it, because it was a discussion prior to this meeting and any other meeting was that election stuff has gotten so broad that I think it'd be in our best interest to try to take a little pressure off of that clerk and not put so much pressure on her to do just the election stuff, because that is very overwhelming.
If you could find the right person, you gotta be qualified.
Yeah.
Sure.
After Kate gave her notice, I had called every surrounding township and talked to them as far as if they had.
What townships do you call this guy?
I called Rock Falls, Bradley, Russell, Schley. Pine River I didn't, because obviously we have a clerk there, but Corning, that if they had an applicant that they didn't hire, so to say, if there was another applicant that they could give us, but they had nothing to offer. So that was a real devastating news. I mean, that was a surprise. I mean, this job, clerk or treasurer, isn't something that people want.
That's why I'm actually talking about the part-time person to help with the election stuff, because that would make that position maybe more attractive to somebody if they didn't have to worry totally about the election stuff, which turns into be a big issue for any clerk, is the old time for the absentee ballots.
And we're fortunate enough in the town of Merrill that we do have a great poll workers that do help a lot and do a lot of work. So hats off to them. I mean, otherwise it wouldn't be possible. It makes the clerk's job a lot easier, to have good qualified people. There is.
And people don't do any of that work, Scott, based on.
Well, they do help quite a bit in the elections and.
Once the election starts, they're there, but
Right.
nobody's there helping Kay put the absentee ballots
Not
out.
that, no, there isn't.
So Mike, are you saying you just kind of want like the election expert type position?
I would think there could be a good possibility that it would be a more attractive, seeing you're saying, Scott, nobody wants to take the clerk position. And that's probably a lot of the reason is because it is an overwhelming position based on the elections. So, at that point, I'm just saying, if we could take a little pressure off of that position by saying that we are willing to bring somebody in to help you do the election stuff when it's election time.
They would have to be a clerk, wouldn't they?
No. You
Well, the
could hire-
treasurer could help.
Yeah, just-
If we hired the treasurer could do that.
Well, yeah.
That would be part of their.
Then that's where I would think you would have to do it based on informing the treasurer that they would have to be know that they're gonna have to also help with the election.
And the board, we talked about that, and that was one of the things that was brought up, that that treasurer would have to help the clerk.
When we talked about wages, did we talk hourly first and then we were eventually gonna go to salary?
We talked, no, first to salary base, and we based it on, you know, surrounding township, and that would be Town of Bradley pays their clerk, I think it's 20, don't quote me, I think it's 23 or 24 annually. And the treasurer, I think, is up to about 12 to 14, depending on their qualification. So it's kind of it's gonna be a tough position to fill. From what I talk to people, and not gonna be easy. Go ahead, Bridget.
Is there a list of duties? I've been reaching out to people personally.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to tell them, this job all.
We each have a list. He gave us a list of clerk
So they,
obligations.
they could actually, if they're interested, move forward, and there's a written paper of what.
There is.
that-
And to it is, in respect to that, Bridget, I've talked to a lot of people that I've, you know, for the township's sake, and they just have no interest, and I don't know why, I guess.
I can tell the 3 people that I reached out to were all interested until it came to the election stuff, and they want no part of it.
Is that right?
They had no problem doing clerk duties until the
Phone.
election. Yep. They're freaked out about the election.
And Kay was too.
Ma'am.
I went through that with her.
She did a very good job. She dotted all her i's,
But
crossed
it
her
was, but it was a
t's.
time consuming position
Right.
in that sense.
Which is why trying to put that on a salaried position is
Yeah.
an uphill battle.
We might have to pay more. I'm
Yeah.
not saying the township
Yeah,
is locked on that number, but I mean,
that's where putting it as an hourly person, the more time they put in, the more they're gonna get paid, the more likelihood you're gonna get somebody to apply and take the job seriously.
correct. That is a point. But that's for the board to decide on how they want to pay if they find somebody qualified to that position, what they want to pay.
I guess the biggest important thing is that we will get away from the audit, paying the auditor, correct?
Correct.
And we legally can split that position without turning it back into an elected position.
Correct.
Correct.
And, you have the right to make it a elected or appointed. So I don't know if we have to do 2 votes.
I don't think so, but I,
If you want to just do 1 vote to make it an appointed position and split it, or
the township has that choice, I believe.
I think
No.
we would have to make a motion and a second and then vote. It can't be just a vote based on whatever the recommendation is. It's our meeting, so we have to make a decision on how we want to do it to advise you.
Correct.
correct?
I just put it out there, Mike, for, you know, I was in their assumption that appointed it would be a better fit for the township, but you are right that the electors have that right to either bring it to a voted position and hopefully find somebody at the term, or we don't, then we go back to square one. The township goes back to square one. So.
So do we make a motion to split it first or vote on the splitting first, or do we probably that and then decide if you want it to be an appointed or elected position?
How about if we make a motion to split it and appoint it, and if anybody is against it, then we vote if there's that many people against it. Is that fair enough?
However, anybody could.
But it should be put to a vote. Needs to be put to a vote.
not just a motion.
Okay,
Or, I'm sorry, a vote.
I make the motion that we split the position, split the position and keep it appointed. And we take it to a vote.
Need a second on that motion.
Bowman, I'll second that motion.
Tony Bowman, seconds. All in favor of that motion?
Now you're gonna do that through this, right?
Now, then we're gonna vote.
Okay.
We just made a motion to,
You needed a
Take it
first
to a
and a
vote.
second. Now this is how we're gonna vote, is the vote by the sheet.
That's her motion.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed that motion? Motion carries. And then to
You have a question?
okay, go ahead, Roy. Roy
What
Huff.
are we voting on here? Put the two jobs together or separate?
separate.
Yes, put them together and no separate them.
Let me restate that. You'll vote yes if you approve the separation. You will vote no if you do not approve of the separation.
And you separate them. What's your alternative if you don't get a clerk?
Same one we're at now. We don't have a clerk.
You don't have a backup plan either, huh?
No, the advantage, like I said, Roy, is that I feel is that, you know, the fact of having two people in the office at times would be helpful.
Turn your mic on, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, Roy. The advantage to have two people in the office and voting time would be a great benefit. And then, of course, for the audit, you don't have to spend the $7,000 for the audit every year. So that's the vote. Does everybody understand what you're voting for? Right. Why don't you collect your pen? That's it.
Oh, Bridget's going.
The vote was 28 yes, 0 no. The board then can, follow through and putting the ads in the paper, I'm sure, next week.
Yep. Talked to Chris about that.
Next on, the agenda is new business.
I have one. New business is, back in, it was, I believe, the last electors meeting, was that February or January,
November.
November? We made a motion.
Budget meeting.
Yeah, we made a motion to, we did not make a motion to accept supervisors when they, plowed. Because Kate said we didn't have to, but today when I talked to her, said we have, you as electors have to, make a vote or a motion to accept like Cutler as a supervisor to get $23.50 an hour with the regular drivers when they're plowing or doing handling heavy equipment.
Does that include any other duties based on in the township, or how does that work?
It was just handling heavy equipment.
I believe so. Because otherwise they get paid like the,
$18
this
an hour.
this average salary.
I make a motion to pay the supervisors the heavy equipment rate when they're operating heavy equipment.
I'll second that.
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there any other new business that electors need to come up? Talk about. Not,
Oh, shit.
go ahead, Kat.
Hi, Kathy Borski. I was just running, at our tax, in our tax, statements, it said that the assessor would be coming around this year and, reassessing the property. I don't know if that's just like the Sabbath.
No, that is township wide. He was, yep, that's township wide. The township is getting reassessed this year, the entire township.
Okay. Do you have any updated information or timeframes?
We have not. No, and I'm surprised we haven't seen something. If it would change, you would get a notice before the board review.
I just wanted to say something
Go ahead,
positive,
see it.
but, I just want to thank whoever plowed the last time by us. They did a really nice job last couple times.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Steve.
What are, I have a question. What are the expectations for plowing? That the same day we would have our road plowed? Cause there were times where our road didn't get plowed until the next day, or typically I have two teenage daughters that they'll go to work in the morning, they'll come home at night, and both trips down our road won't have been plowed.
Your name, please, sir.
Rockford. And, I live on Sunset Lane. And so we have trees on the far west end of the road that area doesn't get melted by the sun and, there are times where, there's 4, 6 inches of snow. I don't know. Years ago, when we first moved, into the neighborhood there, I'd see a truck that would go down in the morning with a flashing light on. I don't know if that was a town truck or whatever, but it seemed like they checked our road a little bit more often. So there are times where we don't get plowed out till the next day, or it's not until 5 or 6 o'clock at night. And
Was
I'm
that
not
just,
worried about myself. I'm worried.
was that just recently that happened, the last couple of snows, or was it
Uh,
winter?
Probably about the second half of the winter was worse.
We did have, some operators leave and some did take some other jobs. So it is hard for us to keep up. We do have a 72-hour window where we legally have to get the roads cleared off.
Not that we wanted to go that far.
It's kind of a get there when we get there kind of basis. We try and crack open the most busiest roads and then start our route. And that's kind of how it goes. It's nothing that we're trying to purposely miss roads, but we do have, our operators are working long hours and they need rest every now and then, so.
I understand that. I don't know if that's, they'll plow Norwegian road twice before they get down our road. And well, I don't know, I mean, we have 18 houses down Sunset Lane. I've got, this summer I'll have 3 teenage drivers that, they got teenage cars, you know, they don't have big jacked up trucks or SUVs or anything like that. So I just want them to, make it out onto the main road safe. And so I understand if you're short people, but I'm just wondering, you answered my question, 72 hours is the expectation.
No.
That's
not the
legal.
expected.
That's just the legality of it. We try and get there as soon as we can.
The other problem also is we get new drivers every year and gotta get retrained and retrained, retrained. And don't be afraid to call and say, hey, my road hasn't been plowed. If I don't know it, they don't know it, they get into a habit, they're gonna do the same thing the next time they go out. That could be part of the reason too.
Are you saying, sir, that Norwegian was plowed before your road was plowed?
Oh, yeah, right by. Norwegian was plowed twice sometimes before.
See, that shouldn't be happening.
Twice, and at the end of Sunset, where you would turn on the Norwegian, there's a snowbank there that's 2 feet tall sometimes, and
But I don't know if that's,
and I've cleared that with my Bobcat at least twice this winter, because people have been getting stuck. They gotta take a running, they gotta basically back up and then bounce through the intersection there. And my daughter went over into the other side of the ditch once this winter.
maybe the board can look at that next year. Yeah, and try to get another,
I just think there's.
Figure it out where
there's 18
as they go,
homes
you'll
on
follow
there.
the road instead of just missing roads, because then you're coming back. I agree with you.
Okay.
But you're talking about plowing. I wonder why, I live on Airport Road. My name is Mike Hacker. The north end of Airport Road doesn't get plowed regularly. Yet the Airport Road going south past the airport is plowed early. Yet the dead end north of Hillside sometimes isn't plowed till late in the day, if at all.
To answer your question, the south end of airport, it's a through road, so it's technically considered a main road.
I understand that.
And whenever our operator gets to coming around the second time, that's when he gets there. I can't say how much I've done that end of the town, but that's just kind of normal protocol.
It just seems to me that to run to the end of the dead end wouldn't take a whole lot more time.
And that's all up to the operator.
We had kids on a bus down that road, same road, live right next to them.
Because the bus.
What's your name?
Ben Buffington.
Ben what?
Buffington.
I do know when we do get a bunch of snow, our main goal is to get the main through roads so people can get to main roads to get to highways and stuff like that. Then they come back and get the back roads, and it's totally up to the driver, his route of doing it, his way, his dominoes effect or by elimination. And we change drivers so often that they quit before they don't even know the road. And I totally apologize that, I mean, it's just, that's another fact. The more you change drivers, the more we're gonna have that.
And my complaint isn't about Cutler, because he usually honks the horn when he goes by our house. My wife's cousin's son. But there's definitely a noticeable difference. I mean, I don't know how many mailboxes we lost on our road here. Mine is hanging on there. If I can get some steel strapped on it, it might last another season, but.
I lost mine yesterday.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, are we not paying enough for a plow driver, or is it not glamorous? I don't know what it.
It's not a fun job, I'll tell you that. It's with being shorthanded, we're running anywhere from 12 to 16 hours at a pop, and you're up at all hours of the night. And maybe it's a retention problem. I don't know. The pay is okay.
The pay is better than the county rate.
Yeah, the county rate is,
That doesn't take anything.
yeah.
Well, we try to.
They were looking.
They're 18 something an hour.
Right, but we try to.
They also don't have any drivers either.
We try to be competitive with other townships. So we did raise our power rate last year considerably.
And for those of you that are here that don't get your dead ends plowed and stuff, you're not the only ones. It's an ongoing thing.
Yes, sir.
So, talking about the dead ends now, like up until about 2 years ago, when they would do the airport road from Hillside to Taylor, they would shoot down them dead ends. What's it take, 5-10 minutes to run through them? And they'd go through. Now how much does it cost in fuel to go through the whole township and then come all the way back with the trucks and plow them again? You know what I'm saying? They're right there. It takes another 5-10 minutes. That's how they used to do it till about 2 years ago, is when that changed. They would, for instance, they would take Hillside, say from Pierce Street to the west. They'd go all the way to 107. When they go to the west, they would turn them to South Airport down to Taylor Street. They'd come back, finish that, keep going west. They hit 107, they turn around. They'd come back and then they'd hit Champaign, they'd hit the north end of the airport. They hit all those roads as they were going by them. Now they're going by them and they're turning around and coming back. I mean, that's gotta be costing a ton of fuel, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna address it based on what we used to do, and we used to do it based on, we do the main routes, and then each driver, it's broke down into 3 sections in the township, and they would do the main routes, then they would work their way back on one side, doing all the side roads that run off of that. And most of the time, that's a pretty quick turnover.
Yeah.
I think what Mike is saying is at this point, the inconsistency based on drivers, they don't have the same people, which was some of the problem that was occurring with the county, because the county was no longer giving us 3 people to do our township. They just flooded it with 8 guys, and then none of them guys knew where to go.
And I get it. I don't expect you to come into our road because there's 6 houses on the
Yeah,
main road.
well,
But you're like, they're driving right next to it. You know what I mean? It takes
Yeah, I
10
get it.
minutes to run down there, if that.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
All I gotta say is add up all those side roads that are off.
I get it.
Off of the main roads, and then it adds up to a couple hours, and then you're maybe behind whatever, how long. And when we do the main roads, it might still be snowing. We just try and get it broke open for morning traffic, and it could still be snowing heavy. That's kind of the reason.
I get it. I mean, it seems like you put on a lot of extra miles.
I just passed snow around.
Is there anything else for new business?
And maybe this was discussed at a previous, meeting, but a number of people on Sunset were unhappy with and I think I saw on Facebook, there were other people in different areas that were unhappy with the tree trimming that went on in the town. I think it was in December, November, or whatever it was. I'm hoping that got brought up. Tell me if it did already, then if it, I don't want to beat the horse, but.
It got brought up already.
Is there any more word on when Airport Road is gonna be redone? Or if it's gonna be redone?
All I know is the money was budgeted for that road. Depends on the board, how they want to carry through with that.
I know you were down last fall, you
Yep.
kind of said they were gonna measure to put
Yep.
it through.
Yeah.
You haven't heard
And
anything.
I talked to Buffington, about this area. I explained about the possible land acquisitions that are needed there for a proper turnaround.
Where's that at?
North end of the airport.
As far as airport, road, I'm talking to John Hans Thursday. Commissioner, highway commissioner, and, I gotta see our options. I'll know more after that meeting, a little more, what direction I gotta go. I'm gonna try to get it done this year, but I cannot guarantee it as of right now.
Anything else on new business? Okay, we'll move on to setting the date for the next annual meeting. This second Tuesday.
Second or third?
Second.
This one's the third.
It always the third.
Is it
Should be
Tuesday?
the, should be the third.
Third Tuesday, excuse
So
me.
that'd be April
Yeah.
15th.
Yep, okay. I need a motion from the floor, I guess, to set that.
Make that a motion. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. That was April 16th. 2024.
Make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor of that motion? Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Yeah, that's back hauling.
I love it on driveway.
And they got all the.
Right, I'd like to, call the order the, monthly. Everybody here? Minutes from, March 13th, 23 board meeting. I need the, motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to approve the March 13th minutes.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. Treasurer report.
We don't have one.
You gonna make one? Something you're gonna make?
We could find one on the computer.
No. Could I, have him make a treasure report and put it on the, website?
We have to approve it next month. I don't know.
Do you have vouchers?
We have
Yeah.
vouchers.
We have vouchers, but no report.
Yeah, but you don't have the monthly treasure report.
I don't know. Well, if you subtract it, why don't you make a listing based on the report for the vouchers off of the amount of money that you have in your account from last year or last month, and subtract that off of your from your total bills, and then that should be your balance. You make the motion to accept it.
Well, I think looking at this document here, first of all, I don't think it's came from QuickBooks because receipts is spelled wrong on the top and QuickBooks look at that. The beginning balance of 2022 is off. If you correct the 2021, I don't think you can really make any motion or anything based off of any of the information here until it gets sorted out.
No, totally agree.
So just don't accept you can okay the vouchers, but you really can't address a treasurer's report that you don't have a report.
Yes, Scott?
Did you get a voucher report?
Yes.
Because there was numerous vouchers that I caught that shouldn't have been, so I don't know if them are removed from that voucher report.
You by chance know which ones those were?
There was poll workers and there was recycling people that I caught, that I told them to double check everything, because there was things there that shouldn't have went through. But if they're listed, I didn't get a list of them, but if they're listed, they should not be on there.
You okayed the checks, correct?
No,
That's it, you have it.
All right, well, I mean, you had to sign for them.
I caught it. when I went back to look at the crime reports and dug through, he wasn't there when I signed the checks, otherwise they could question. And then when I found him, I made note of it and pulled them.
Yeah, I don't see any poll workers or recycling on here.
Okay. I just want to verify that he pulled them ones that I had noted and anything else that didn't have documentation with it.
Do you wanna look through these just to make sure, or agree with everyone you signed, or don't want to do that? It's totally up to you. I'm just afraid I just want you to see if there's one in there that it's not supposed to be.
What I'm stating, Mike, is that when I talked to Chris, that the ones I caught, there could have been others that I didn't catch.
Did you sign all the checks, Scott?
I did,
Okay.
but there's ones that I caught that afterwards because of there was no time with them or nothing.
Was
And
that
what-
after you had signed them all?
Yes.
If you haven't signed.
But I told them. So just so the board knows that,
I'm not noticing anything that seems to be out of order here, at least from what I have in front of me.
Anybody else see anything?
It looks good. There's nothing jumping off the page that would make me raise the question. Okay.
But do you think that he forgot us some, Scott?
no, he didn't, he added some that weren't supposed to be,
Okay,
because there was no time for it.
all right.
That's what I caught.
I think the first thing you have to do is the treasurer's report. If you don't have a treasury report, you have to get a motion from your board to approve not getting a treasurer's report, and that you will document that will be put into place next month. That you will, because it's part of your agenda, so you have to follow that. So I think somebody from the board would have to make a motion that there's no treasurer's report, and that we will look into next month filing a balance based on the non-report that you have for this meeting.
I will make that motion. Just how Mike worded it.
Yeah, and otherwise, you got it on your agenda, you have to get a motion from your board and.
I know, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Okay, so just say, we have no treasury report, so we will report next month on our balance for the treasurer's report. And we will also give a treasurer's report for last month's too. So you do two of them, a treasury report for this month's report and next month's report.
Next month.
Correct. Got that, Janine?
In other words, we need a motion to make this month's treasury report next month's.
Correct.
That's what I have. Daryl made a motion to report this month's report next month along. That's fine.
I'll second.
That's next month. All right.
So now, the vouchers, do we feel confident with?
Mike, you have to call for a vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Vouchers. Do we feel comfortable?
like we said, I don't see anything on here that's out of the ordinary or looks like it shouldn't be here, so I think we go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I,
All opposed? Motion carried. Tax vouchers, there isn't none here, is there?
no,
And I told me he was gonna have them ready too.
I make a motion to do the tax vouchers next month.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I,
All opposed? Motion carried. Road report? Water's going down. How bad is it on, Field Drive yet? Last I heard that was going down, it was, but it was washed out, so I believe they still have barricades there. Few overflows, I know on, a couple roads, but they went down. Spring Lake Road, there was a little bit. Other than that, need a motion to go into equipment reports, or anybody got any questions?
Got one more thing on, road. Are we gonna pick a date and time to do a road tour?
it comes up
Oh,
in
yeah.
new business.
On our new business?
That's under new business.
I need to get a hold of, I wanted like, County Fisher to come with. And, get somebody else. He's all interested in that.
I'll go.
That's a good day. Any days, really.
Not
Well,
this
that's, you're going too far ahead. We gotta finish the reports, then we need to go to old business, then we go to new business where that date will be set.
Oh, okay, yeah. I have that new business, you know, confused me. All right, we make a motion to, get out of, or just go on to, we're done with,
Yeah, do equipment.
Are you doing a
Right.
equipment
But we're
report?
done with, road report? Okay, on to, equipment report. The, Western. We have, a couple of estimates for our new engine. Can you read them off, Cutler? I know you were talking with some of the guys.
Yeah. So this is for a motor refresh. And Cummins quoted us for $20,340 for a motor refresh. Whole thing. And then from OCD, we got a few different ones. Just with machine work and engine rebuild is 15,000 from OCD. a new long block and a couple of the parts at 24,000. And a whole new, everything, turbo, emissions, motor, everything around the motor is $43,526 from OCD. And JX, I didn't get a hold of these guys, but it must be Mitch. And holy moly, it's a for everything to be redone for new motor overhaul is $106,000. $106,062.
No, I think you have that wrong.
All added together.
Yeah, your
He's got, that's.
overhaul is the top number and your complete is number 3.
Gotcha. Thanks, Carol. Yeah, I missed that. The complete motor is 46,000 from JX and an overhaul is 31,000.
Cummins engine in there is.
The Cummins L9. And the Western Star right now is at OCD diesel. And if we did get an engine refresh from them, they would end up sending the motor over to Cummins anyways, and all the parts would be warranted from them. From what I understand.
Did we get any warranty information?
It's,
I
the
talked
warranty
to
is,
Mitch and he was gonna leave it on the desk and
the warranty
that happened.
not that great. It's a year on parts.
50 year on parts.
Yeah. It's nothing too great. We're gonna get a warranty, a year warranty either way from whoever we go to. It's what I'm getting.
Did Cummins quote you a new motor?
They only quoted me a refresh. Not a new motor.
Maybe it'd be worth asking them, because if it's Cummins motor, it's coming from Cummins, maybe they'd have the best price for that too.
Maybe have a little better warranty.
We would get a warranty through, if we did it through OCD too, they'll send the motor over to Cummins.
But if you had a new motor from Cummins, you might have a longer warranty than a year.
That, a new motor is gonna be at least 20,000 more, at least. I don't know what,
I don't,
What exactly failed on the engine?
we had a belt snap and it overheated for a little bit. It's practically what I know. I was behind the wheel when it happened and my alarms went off for maybe
Are they-
45 seconds max.
Are the shops giving you any feedback as to overhauling this motor would be sufficient, or is the
They don't-
engine junk
they
that
don't know.
needs to be replaced completely?
They don't know. I had it dropped off there last month. So it could get looked at and see what we need. And then the work was stopped for some reason. I don't know why they were told not to look into it.
We're probably better off that they didn't look into it, because we'd have to pay them to look into it, and that would go toward, that would be additional. If the motor got seized, we don't know if the motor is junk. We don't know, I guess there was antifreeze in the oil.
The truck drove there, but
you know, that truck we had 10 years, it's got 46,000 miles on it. So we put an average of 4,600 miles on that truck a year. So if you go full bore and buy the best of warranties, which is only gonna be 2 years max, you're basically buying for $9,000, 9,000 miles, a 2 year warranty. One way to look at it, and another way, you can go the cheaper route and do the rebuild. How long is that gonna last? If that lasts 30,000 miles, that's 7 years. I don't know.
At this point, you really don't even know what happened. to the
That's
motor,
the other
correct?
problem. Where do we take it? Do we let OCD do it? Do we take it down to Cummings? Do we?
You have to figure out what happened to the truck and the motor first.
Right. I know, I totally agree with that.
If it were my truck, I'd take it to Cummins. Let them diagnose it and repair it.
Yeah, whoever we take it to is probably gonna do the work. That's, you know. Anyway, we're gonna have to, get it towed. Cause we don't want any more damage done, obvious.
Right.
But it's just a matter how much. If you stick $60,000 into that truck with a rebuild or a brand new motor, okay, now go and get a rebuild. That truck is probably gonna be the same price if you're gonna turn around and sell it. It ain't gonna be worth much more. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tony.
Well, no, I was just gonna tell you, Mike, I would volunteer my services to the township to kind of overtake this for you guys. And since I hopefully have some expertise in this, and evaluate that truck for you. Since we have time, it isn't like hopefully we don't have to plow snow tomorrow.
You just jinxed us.
Yeah, I know. But, I'm willing to do that for our township at no charge.
I would very appreciate that.
I was hoping to talk about this last month, but I got here a lot late, so, yeah. But it's up to the board. It's, but I'm willing to do that.
And what, as far as, what would you like for that truck to get towed out here?
So I can stay at OCD and I'll just go there and evaluate it, tell them what I'm up to. And
Okay.
I have, at this point, the reason I have concerns about this is because our truck only has 50-some thousand miles on it. Therefore, I need to look at it, I guess. I'll take my toolbox and go look at it there and.
I know you have more expertise in it than all five of us.
So, like I said, and I can report back next month to the, at the meeting and tell you, and I can keep you guys in the loop too in the interim, but I can report back to the board and the members of this township what I found.
That would be very appreciative.
If the board likes, so.
Board needs to make a motion.
I need a motion for, Johnny to, look at our Western.
To make a motion, let Tony go down there and look it all over, give us an opinion.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And with the equipment report, also, I'd like to add on that the Peterbilt's down there now after the wing flying up to the side of it the second time. Another thing. Third time, sorry. The wing hit the side of the truck 3 times, from what I know.
And just for, in this summer too, I really wouldn't mind looking into getting that undercarriage put on that thing. If we gotta stick a little line into it.
We have to because the 2 cylinders are shot for
Right.
that. And so need all new lines with the building.
But we'll need to get a quote on that too.
We would just send their stuff down to Fossil Hydraulics and have them redo them.
Just, that's for the future. Anything else on the equipment? Okay, old business would be to discuss, Prairie Road and Airport Road projects. Like I said, I just called John Hans this afternoon and, made an appointment to talk to him Thursday morning. And I'll know more next meeting. I called at least 3 or 4 engineer people and I kind of get different opinions on, as far as that, LRIP grant that we got. So I kind of talked to somebody from, American Asphalt and he kind of led me in the right direction, but we'll go from there. I'll talk to John and I'll have more, information next month on that. Prairie Road, I don't know what's going on with that. We don't even, last time we were discussing, just to overlay it or, what is that? Chip seal or, blacktop. So I don't know. We never did come to a conclusion on that. But I don't foresee that happening this year anymore.
I apologize for not knowing from past meetings, but what's the holdup on Airport Road? What's the engineering or something or whatever you're saying? What is?
Yeah, I talked to engineers and some of them say that has to be bid out. County, you can't just give it to county. Otherwise you lose your grant, which is $174,000. I talked to some people who say you can't. I don't know. Like I said, I'm getting, it's just going around in a circle. And I'm gonna go and talk to John Hans and, I'm gonna go from there. Not that I'm just gonna agree with everything he says either, but I'm trying to get down. If I have to, I'll call somebody from the state. Any other questions?
Is there a deadline when you gotta use that grant money by?
What's that?
Is there a deadline then when you have to use that grant money by for Airport Road?
2027. And there again, we want it done well before that.
I was gonna say, because then you're looking at price increases and everything else.
Right.
For the Prairie Road project, are you looking from Taylor all the way up to the turnaround on the north end or just from Taylor to Hillside or where?
What, you talk airport?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Airport Road, yeah.
All the way through, all the way back.
So from Taylor all the way up to the turnaround?
Yep, the dead end.
Okay.
Like, we gotta do some work on that turnaround also, right? Like,
Yeah.
bigger.
Right. And it's, I don't get that done this year and we proceed with the road. I'm gonna do the road. We can always do the turnaround because, we're only granted $174,000. And that road is gonna be $400,000 at least, whatever. If we have to next year, we'll turn around as soon as I come to a happy conclusion with the landowners back there. If it comes to a happy conclusion, but we're gonna be paying for the turnaround no matter what we do. So I'm not gonna have a turnaround hold me up if I can get it done for a reasonable amount of money. I should say if we can get it done for a reasonable amount of money.
Who wants the turnaround?
Pardon?
Who wants the turnaround?
Turn around for the trucks, the plow trucks, so we're not turning around in driveways and running them up, but we'll put we wanna get just a little chunk of land to turn around, put a nice good base in there, blacktop or whatever we gotta do. And so a truck can turn around without breaking driveways.
Well, you got ditching or no? Cause it's been like that for years, right? Obviously, I'm just wondering.
It goes to the fact of fixing the road. When you do the road, you have to do it legally and correctly.
And you got, right now, there's two of us that own at the end right now, and we have no objection to a turnaround.
That's very good to know, and I'll be talking to you in the future. Thank you.
Isn't there a legality for school buses to be able to turn around or something there too? Isn't that part of that equation?
Legality, I haven't really looked into that, but I'm sure.
When we talk about these road, repairs and rebuilds and stuff, does our township have a mailbox policy so that, the residents know how far back their mailboxes should be from the pavement? Because and the reason I bring that up is, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but on Norwegian, there's a few mailboxes that are really close to the pavement.
There is a legality there from USPS.
Even Lincoln County's got a policy on mailboxes, I believe.
I think it has to be breakaway at least 47 inches above the blacktop.
Correct.
And the other ones, but they're regulations.
But does our township need to adopt a mailbox policy as we start rebuilding these roads? We should have one, I think.
You enforce it.
You said that, I heard previously that the last snowstorm, what's our policy if a mailbox gets damaged while snow plowing?
If a snowplow actually hits a mailbox, the homeowner gets $50.
Okay. But if it gets damaged by flying snow, there is no.
Then there's, if it's from the snowbank, it's.
I'm just saying, as we go forward with these roads, we should make the residents.
You can make a policy, Tony, but then we have to, also, who's gonna enforce it?
I understand it, but if at least there's guidance.
Right.
There's no guidance right now, so to speak, in our township. Other than the rural carrier wants it 40-something inches off the ground.
Basically, that's the guidance.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I don't know how we could change it. Mailboxes, it's their guidance.
You're right.
There's guidance, so we can look it up, because I'll be putting the new mailbox in this summer.
I just Googled it last night with my phone on my backed up. It told me like 42 to 48 inches high or something like that.
How far off the road?
Now it says 8 inches or something,
6 to 8 inches, based on the road, right? What's the right of way? So every road's different based on the width. Didn't say from blacktop or anything.
Is that like a state statute then?
I just know there's some mailboxes that are kind of close, that's all.
Oh, yeah, you can tell, I can tell the difference on a lot of them also. What they want. Are we, good with Airport Road and, Prairie?
Good, move on to new business.
Yep. New business? Discuss and approve, fireworks permit from Mark Lot 6 starting July 1st, ending July 2nd. Paperwork is in and it's all.
I'll make a motion to approve firework permit for Mark Lot 6, July 1st, ending July 2nd.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Discuss long-range planning committee. I, would like to get that going as soon as possible. I believe Larry's would be one, Brandon Peterson.
Yep.
Mike Matuszak was gonna get us going. Daryl Bingham was, he's gonna run it eventually, as soon as he, Mike, shows him how to do it, and then Mike's gonna fade it out. And, I got a hold of Rodney Frudenberger, but he didn't get back to me yet. And Tony Fisher he works for the county. I think, Larry was prior on the long range planning committee prior to this with, Mike. And, Brandon, I think, is a very good asset to, help with the roads. He can, point out what should be done, what shouldn't be done. He can help us with equipment. He's got a good idea, good head for that stuff. And Tony Fisher also working with the county. He can tell us what, we can, with, as far as roads, he should be a pretty good, knowledgeable on that also. And Daryl, he's Daryl. But, no, he's got a very smart.
Why don't you ask the board, what, if there are issues that they would like to bring to that committee immediately, or?
Yeah, I asked the board and I asked you if you said any, problems or whatever, and we can bring them to the committee and try to get them solved.
I have one agenda item for the long range right away, is to figure out pricing on blacktop and possibly, Mike Matuszak, you mentioned that pole building to cover a sand pit for the blacktop and that little pole building, but I don't know what that's called.
It's just a coverall building.
Yeah, coverall building for sand pit, just to get that done.
And then my, next question is, when would we want to get together?
I think we can discuss that later and figure that out on our own.
Okay. See no problem with that.
Were the old members of the, planning committee was, White and Wells.
Boyd, Larry, Brian Gutenberg.
Larry Gutenberg or Robbie Gutenberg. Tony Fisher.
Is White stepped down, or has he been notified that we're changing people?
Who's that?
Mr. Boyd, was there a phone
Scott
call
Boyd?
to him?
Scott Boyd hasn't been involved in anything based on that position before. It's the new chairman's job to appoint that committee. That was when I had it as a committee, then Scott was part of my committee, so Mike is actually setting this committee up.
I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page here.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to call, Scott?
Well, I think you should be.
Yeah.
Ask if he's in or out.
Yeah. All right.
That we haven't really used the planning committee in 2 years, almost 2 years. So, I think it would just be an emergency to touch base with him.
No. That's no problem.
Yeah.
Would that committee also look at the long range needs for equipment? I would suggest that it looks at that as well.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions on that? Okay, and then we have to set a date for our road inspections. What's a good date? For you guys,
Every day it's not gonna snow.
Not this weekend.
July.
Who's all going on it?
Whoever
Not
wants
that
to.
it's gotta be etched in stone.
What's that?
I said not that we have to have a set agenda.
If there's more than 2 board members, we have to.
Right now, it's, me, Cutler, and Matt. I'm gonna ask Tony Fisher, if anybody else wants to come with, just let me know. More the merrier.
I'll come with, but if you wanna do it, you guys might want to do it on a weekend, though. I'll do it during the week. The next 3 weekends I'm gone. And If you wanna do it during the week, fine. If not, I won't go.
I would like to, because especially since the water's high right now, you get a better you get a better feeling of how shitty the roads are. Excuse my French.
Well, if it's gonna be this Friday or this weekend, I can't.
How about not this Friday, the next Friday?
I could do that. What you guys?
I'd be out, but that's, I mean, I don't wanna hold it up at all. So.
You got a problem with that, man?
1 second. 29th?
Yeah, there's 28 that we're doing.
28.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, that's good to go. And, were them lawnmower bids on yours, Jeff Scott?
They're on that center table.
Okay. Okay, we got 4 bids for the lawn care service mowing. First bid is from Cutting Edge Yard Care. $99 per time. Next one is from Elite Yard Service. This one just gives a price for 200. Plus tax.
Does it say per week, per month, per season?
Weekly. Next one's from Double D Lawn Care and Landscaping. $95 weekly per time or per time. Elite Yard Service.
You had that one.
We have an Elite.
I don't know. Lawn care and maintenance, 115. Leaf removal during fall, spring cleanup, $250. Hatching lawn, 125. But the lawn care mowing would be 115, and that would be a weekly estimate.
Double D's,
Cheapest.
little bit.
They did a fine job last summer.
I need a motion.
I make a motion to accept Double D's bid for lawn care.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carried.
Daryl abstains.
Did you get that? Daryl abstained on the vote. The, next. We need to, we need a motion to take Scott off the checks and make me approve new chairman Michael Haas to sign checks for the town of Merrill and remove Scott Strike as chairman and Kate Teagues as clerk treasurer. Chris Zedler and Amanda Hurt should remain as persons who should be Stigler's signers as treasurer and administration assistant. I need a motion for me to sign checks.
I make a motion to approve the above readings or statements or that
Okay.
you
You want
are
this?
the head checks.
They gotta sign it. You want this piece of paper too?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Correspondence.
I'd like to welcome Mike Haas as our new chairman
And Matt Leader.
and Matt Leader also. That's right. We got another one over there.
And I don't have any other correspondences. To start putting word out there that we're looking for a full-time guy.
Yeah, full-time guy.
Talk to you, and
I have two guys that are very in because, our full-time guy quit. I don't know if anybody knows that. But I have two individuals or one I know is very interested. I talked to him today and another one I just through the grapevine, he, supposedly got an application. Cutler's, I believe, you said you have a guy who might be interested, but
Did we put an ad in the paper for that, Mike?
no, we didn't put an ad in the paper for that.
Probably should.
can't do that.
Oh, put it in the agenda for this month.
I don't think we need to.
We don't need a motion for that.
You may be missing out on an ideal candidate. I mean, you have some good candidates, but you may be missing out on an ideal candidate. And it would be good to give everyone the opportunity to apply that wants to apply for the job.
We just put an ad in the paper.
Okay. What is that position? Is that be a full-time?
To be, like a road crew / shop foreman.
I'm sure the photo news can look up the old ad.
Yeah. It's
All right.
I'll bring it up.
Anything else, correspondence? Okay, public comment, I think we just,
I think it'd be a good idea for that's idea based on posting it, as a good idea to post that position, but also to get other people involved, your board, to possibly your long-range planning committee, a few people from the public, to be part of that procedure.
as far as interviews,
Correct. Can help make a decision based on that.
yeah, at the interview, we can have,
I'd be interested, sure.
it's just two of us can do this, not three, there's only can be two, otherwise I have to make a special meeting. And I don't think that's really needed. But people from the long-range planning committee can come. And we can have, a few more opinions there. All right, anything else? Public comment? Oh, no.
Just wondering if it'd be a wise investment, if you're spending all this money on this truck. And say a week after you get it, the belt breaks again. Should we be investing in some kind of alarm or something if there is none, or what? You know, it should have been warning signs.
I was thinking a punching bag. Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know what to do though.
The alarms did come on once the temperature got high.
Is there a PM schedule you follow on these trucks?
Dave?
PM schedule on these trucks, preventative maintenance, inspecting the belts, inspecting,
We do our pre-trip and
right, yeah, you check the oil and make sure it holds air and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, an actual PM schedule where the truck is in the shop and gets the grease circs hit, and to look at the belts on it to see if they're good, and if a little more in-depth than just a pre-trip.
it's more in depth than that. Anytime we're done, or it's the day after, we go in, see if it needs greasing, we inspect everything, see, is this broken? How does this look? We do that, but it's not on a set schedule.
I would say it should be on a set schedule and recorded someplace, even on a grease board on the wall.
I personally, put a bulletin on the wall, say you check, have a checklist on it. Check it, dated.
I just mean, like, your gauges and stuff aren't gonna work. Belt breaks,
Right.
you're not gonna have alternator or nothing. You're gonna know something's wrong.
It was a fan belt. It's
Big trucks have multiple belts. Alternators.
Even still, if it overheats, shut it off.
Was the truck taken into a preventive, like a O&C or somebody like that prior to the snow plowing? Would that maybe be a good idea to take it to a trained person to go through it and make sure it is ready for the snow plowing season?
Didn't we do that?
They all.
I mean,
Who did
was
it?
it Eco took through it? Both of them trucks.
Who did it?
I know last year it was, Scarlucas.
Oh, Starlucas, yeah, right, over in Antigo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are the town trucks, are they required to have a DOT inspection on them annually?
They are not. But we do it
Well, we
just
do it.
for insurance reasons.
Right.
We do it.
Unrelated to the trucks. With kind of the debacle that the annual report is and the lack of treasurer's report and the general debacle that's going on here with that. I would say, in my opinion, involving an accounting firm sooner than later is probably warranted to get the finances set back straight in the town here and maybe look for somebody more qualified or more suited for that position. This doesn't provide a lot of confidence with what's going on here financially with the town. We've had all kinds of financial issues here for the last couple of years, and this is just spiraling out of control here. I would say something needs to be addressed.
So do you have a problem with if Kay and Amanda could figure it out?
I don't have a problem with that if they're willing to. Are they coming back on board as employees of the town then, or
They
what's-
are employees of the town, but they come in as needed. And, I guess we just did have an audit. So
Okay, well, how did things get so out of hand in
I
that?
don't think it's as much out of hand as he doesn't have a handle on doing a report.
correct.
Okay. I'm not an accountant. I don't know QuickBooks. I don't know how to operate that stuff, but I would think that, generating the monthly treasurer's report for this annual report should have been a pretty high priority item to have for the annual meeting here. And to have that all in disarray and non-existent is a pretty big red waving flag with light blinking on it to me.
I totally agree.
I'll agree with you 100%. It was very embarrassing to sit here tonight.
We can only do it.
I
I'm not an accountant.
I understand this is just a public comment and the public making a comment that something needs to be addressed sooner than later.
But I would like to get on the K and just have her just look at it, and if she rolls her eyes back and says, I don't know what the heck's going on, bingo, we hire somebody. Accountant, whatever we have to. Yeah, Scott?
I just want to make the comment too, that when we hired Chris onto this, Daryl and I had interviewed him. He felt comfortable with QuickBooks at the time. And he was confident and he seemed like he could do it. And that's where we went off with that. But obviously he's got some problems.
And
But,
we were in a bind.
and we had, yes, but I just wanted to make it clear that I think Chris is just a little bit overwhelmed with things here, with what's going on. And I think if he got some proper training, like Kay had done, I think he could be okay. But I think the township could probably look at possibly sending him to some seminars, maybe to find out exactly what he's doing wrong and have that corrected.
I have a question. Is so Kay left this position when it was both positions together. Would she be interested in doing the treasurer position by itself?
No, she went on to a different job.
It could be that everything is in QuickBooks fine. It's just getting it from that to this
Right.
form.
That's what I,
Got geeked up, but somebody should go through this and make sure it jives.
that's what I personally think, but I can't say yes or no.
I run QuickBooks. This is not a QuickBooks report. This is his own made-up report where he put information in the wrong spot. So I don't have a worry about the finances of the town. It's just looked really bad on this form that he made. Because when I did my numbers back and forth and you added the ending balance should, according to his numbers, be almost, I think it's supposed to be the exact of what he had as an opening cash balance. So I don't know what he did with the numbers, but he's got them in the wrong spots.
Daryl, could you, just suggestion, could you communicate and just say, seeing you seem to have some knowledge based on this, would you be willing to communicate with either Kay or with,
Kay sent us an email. She's going to be here at least one more time this month. And I have to get in touch with her to find out when she's going to do that so that I can be here with her and Chris.
and I think Amanda would also be willing to help, I think if we just would get some reach out to her, because she was our deputy clerk. I mean, she volunteered to be part of that and she was paid to learn how to do that position. So I think if we reach out to her, I think between the two of them, we can get at least just get the treasurer's report filed and this report for the annual meeting here done at least. Then you guys can at least know the books and the numbers come up. I think I think that's a good way to go. And if you can't, either one of them don't want to participate, then I guess you have no other alternative but to hire an accounting firm to try to get your stuff so that the reports come out the way they should.
I don't think we have to go that route.
Okay, that'd be good. That's expensive for the town.
Again, I apologize for that. We'll try to get it straightened out. Everybody, happy with, public comment? Anything else?
I do have one more comment. I heard that, the board's gonna go and use the roads in the township. Is that all roads? Okay, then I have a request while you're doing that is to, make a note of which our dead end roads don't have proper turnarounds on. And, so we can start maybe in the future, get some turnarounds put on the end of our dead end roads.
Try.
Well, I know, it's not overnight.
That's a very good comment. I totally agree with you.
Because, you know, with the snow plows and then of course there's always encroachment and everything else, so. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, Scott?
The only comment I have that is, and probably you know that, Tony, as well, that they kind of turnaround that the township wants to put in, we have to actually purchase property, it has to go through an attorney and a real estate agent.
Oh, yeah, but we need to identify those.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And the people.
And not only.
They didn't have any issue with them. It's just the idea of having them engineered and marked.
Right, but at this point, we need to identify
But there's,
and then put priority to them perhaps.
there's a lot of,
Right.
Is there any talk back on roads a little bit on limits with the warm weather that was last week? Is there any forecast when the limits are coming off?
I haven't heard none. Have you, Scott?
I'm sorry?
Have you heard anything on the road limits, or is there a rough estimate when they're coming off?
I didn't hear nothing, but I'm sure with this latest weather, I'm sure they're gonna be, delayed to come off probably, I'm gonna guesstimate the first week of May.
Do you just usually get a hold of, Jason and keep in touch with him on that?
I do.
Usually always, they take soil temperature of the blacktop and they evaluate based on the surface temperature on the lower level. They've got probes that they use for that. That's why we always use them as our guide. Except for some of our gravel roads that sometimes may get boils that we send them, which.
And our compromised pavement as well.
Yeah. You have the right to leave them closer as long as you like, so that's a good thing.
I think it's 8 weeks lawfully, isn't it, Mike?
Some of them are longer than that. You gotta sign up.
We
You
can
can
put them on, leave them on for 8 weeks, we can leave them for a day to put back on.
Any more public comment? I need a motion to adjourn.
We have a comment here, Mike.
Oh, hang on.
I did just want to comment about the turnaround at the end of our road, or the school bus did get stuck down there with a storm. Not this past winter, but the winter before, and the whole side of our yard got just tore up because they were trying to pull the bus out. Because it tried to back up in our back driveway. That's the same spot, I think, 5 years ago where the county truck got buried on spring break, because I was out of town and my neighbor sent me.
What were you on?
Airport,
Oh,
airport.
in the north end.
And the truck was buried and they had to come and put a bunch of gravel and fix the big huge holes in my back driveway. They usually back up there.
It's, when there isn't a turnaround, it's just a matter of time when somebody's gonna rip something up. Unfortunately. But, yeah, like I said, I will be getting a hold of, used people and, hopefully we'll get that turnaround put in. I really appreciate the, cooperation. Any more public comment? I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion